Do you find yourself missing shots but sitting like this?
That dude's hacking for sure.
Or maybe find yourself sitting even like this?
I am a potato.
Well, if you do, then look no further. Because welcome back to my next but honest video. My name is Nick from Midwest Gaming Republic, and in today's but honest, we're talking posture, we're talking leg positioning, we're talking how you should be setting up your physical body to hit more shots. Now, if you've been following my most recent but honest videos, essentially what I've been compiling is a mini series, which is kind of like a Get Good series, and where typically with the but honest series, we talk about a variety of different gaming topics and cover those. We've been kind of talking about what sort of things do you need to know to become a better gamer. And once again, for those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Nick. I have been competitively gaming since about 2006. And let's get right into this week's But Honest video. So, I had been a controller player for probably the past 15 or so years. And as I've stated before, I have made a full time transition to mouse and keyboard on PC for the past year or so. And I have felt that it has pretty much significantly increased my skill level and my precision and all of that, so on and so forth. But more so, what I want to do is kind of share some tips and tricks for people who are either thinking about switching or have recently made the transition, and kind of give my insight and allow you to kind of glean some of the information that I've been able to gather that has propelled me to make advancements further and faster than I think most of my peers. Have you ever seen the meme about where essentially the gamers, who sit back, they're kind of chilling, and then when they get real serious, they lean in and they try to really focus in? That mindset or that physical shift, really the engagement of it, the component of it, the focus of it, for me, I have found that that has reigned true. I truly fundamentally believe that when you're sitting back, reclining, and essentially in a relaxed position, I think more times than not, your gameplay will reflect that versus somebody like myself who sits about 6 inches away from the monitor and is constantly engaged and leaning in will have a more likely chance to be successful, especially in tense precision, just really high focused, high intensity moments. Now, what I'm going to be covering is three main components to making sure that you're in the most optimal position to be able to set yourself up for success. Now, the big thing to remember is that it is subjective. So take what I say and tweak it to make it your own. But if you're looking just for a general guide, this is how I set myself up and how I would recommend anybody else set themselves up. So we're going to be talking about keyboard and mouse, how I position it, and how essentially my arm plays into that and how I kind of flow, how your chair and your desk should align, and how your general posture should be while you're playing. And if you take all those things, it should help you with your game immediately. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is your keyboard and your mouse setup. And the first thing I have to mention is that look how good this angle is. No, if you're not playing on one of these ginormous mouse mats, this is like a $20 one that I bought from Amazon. If I remember, I will link it in the description below. You need space. If you're a mouse and keyboard player and you're playing on a little freaking 8x8 inch mouse pad, you're going to have a bad time. And if you also know anything about me, is that I really preach turning down your sensitivity. And I'll link that video. I think it's going to be right here. So go check that out. Turn down your sensitivity. You're going to need a lot of mouse pad space, essentially, when you're playing. And the two big things to note is that I push my keyboard far to the left side. Now, remember, it's going to be reverse in here. And if you're a lefty, it's going to be the opposite. But essentially, I tilt it on like a 15-degree angle. And the reason I do that is that it helps my fingers, instead of playing flat like this, you'll find a lot of people might play like this, but I recommend that most people tilt it slightly, and I push it all the way to the left. I probably would have it further to the left, and the main reason for that is when having it tilted, my fingers can ease of access buttons a little bit easier, just based on my keybind settings. And then for my mouse, the big thing is that I want to be able to have a lot of space, because if you're playing and if you're an intelligent player, you'll probably have your sensitivity turned down, and you're going to even find times when you're dragging that you're going to be hitting your mouse. Maybe you go off and you might even bump into your monitor if it has a monitor stand. So you're going to need a lot of space is the reoccurring theme here. And the big thing that I want to talk about, so I talked about how our arms are going to kind of flow into this. What I want you to know and what I want you to remember right now, do not anchor your elbow. You want to have the point of contact. You actually want the chunk of the contact for your mouse to be on your forearm, not on your elbow, on your forearm. That is the biggest thing I can tell you right now. Do not anchor your elbow. If you're anchoring your elbow, it's going to inhibit your ability to be more precise. Where you really want your micro adjustments and your micro corrections, you want the majority of your pressure to be right here on your forearm, and you want your corrections to come from inside your hand like this, right? So I'm not like death gripping my controller or my mouse, I guess in this example. Don't death grip it. Just rest your hand over it. I kind of hold it, I would say, traditionally. You see how there's a little bit of space in there? I have a little bit of space. Don't death grip it. Just be light, and you want to be able sometimes to make micro corrections like this with inside of your hand. Then with your wrist, and then with your forearm. So this is really where you want all of your corrections to come from. And you want to be able to make big sweeping motions too as well while you're making all these micro corrections. So you don't want to anchor your elbow, because if the movement is coming from your elbow, you're going to be very stiff, and it's going to be really uncomfortable and very difficult to make precision and adjustments within, your gameplay. So you want your elbow, have your elbow slightly elevated. I would not even, unless you're just like not moving at all and you're just kind of like meh. If you're going to go into an engagement, make sure that your elbow is off of whatever you're anchoring it to. If you have your arm all the way on your desk, that's fine. Just you don't want your elbow to be stuck. You want it off of anything anchoring it. And you want to be lifting your mouse up. Like say you sweep, pick your mouse up, readjust, recenter, always recenter it back. So move, pick it up, recenter it. Don't be afraid to lift your mouse up. Now, that's why I always recommend a lighter mouse as well, because these forearm men, the tendons and the muscles in here, they get fatigued, man. They really do. So that's the general gist of it. Your micro adjustments want to come from inside your hand, wrist, forearm, and get your stupid freaking elbow up. Get it up, and don't be afraid to pick your mouse up and reset yourself. And that is the general approach to your arm. And I guess for closing, don't be afraid. You can rest it here. I rest like my wrist, my forearm. It's all resting here. So essentially, this is how I play, and this is how it's going to look. And I guarantee you, you're going to hit a lot more shots just based on this rule of giving yourself space, and then also get your elbow up. Don't let your elbow sit, especially in a gunfight. When you're doing something high engagement, get your elbow up. Use your forearms, use your wrists, use your hand, make the adjustments. And with that, is going to help you immensely. Okay, so now for this portion, the final two things I want to talk about is just general posture and how you should be setting your body up to your desk. Now, I'm going to use this photo because I feel like it's just the easiest way to do it. You'll notice that I have my feet firmly planted on the ground. Now, I know that seems ridiculous, but you really do genuinely want to have your feet either flat, or what I like to do is I tuck them under myself and I tuck them on the bar of my chair, the thing that obviously stabilizes it. Now, the more intense of the situation, I usually would recommend keeping your feet flat. You don't want to be super tense. Like when I have my feet tucked up under myself, I'm kind of just generally playing, but I find very often when things get super serious that I put my feet firmly on the ground. And you want to be loose. You don't want to be super tense, because when you're super tense, it just kind of creates a mindset and you want to just be able to be fluid and go with the flow. So my general recommendation is to keep your feet flat on the ground. The next component that I really want to talk about is just my general posture. I am not a person that sits stiff as a board. I have a little bit of curl to my back, so I might get scoliosis by the age of like 40, but you know, when I'm beasting, beast mode, you got beasted, then I don't know, maybe it'll be worth it, maybe it won't. My general consensus though would be to try to sit up with a straight back. It may not be super possible, but you don't have to have perfect posture. But if you're going to lean any direction, make sure you're at least leaning in a little bit, is what I would say. But as you can see in the photo, my posture isn't insane by any means. I don't look like I'm, you know, big chest up. I don't have my like head up high like I'm a proud boy or whatever that group is from the UK. But just you want to just have a general good lean in, be engaged, feet flat, and just be ready to play essentially. And the last thing that I want to point out, so I'm a big, pretty heavy dude. When I was talking about the arm position in particular, you don't have to be tucked underneath your desk, okay, by any means. But I do when I generally play, when I'm not engaged or when I know I'm not going to be in like an intense moment, I do rest my elbow on my armrests of my chair. Now, you want to have my recommendation. If you're like me and you use the armrests of your chair, this is the biggest tip that I can recommend to you with your chair positioning. Have your armrests of your chair parallel or even more slightly elevated above your desk. So either have your armrest with your chair even so that there's no height difference, so your elbow isn't below the desk. Either have your elbow at the same level as the desk or above the desk. And this will help you with being able to keep your arm up, especially in intense situations. You don't want your forearm to be below your desk. You want your forearm to be even with your desk or even slightly elevated with the desk. And that is probably the biggest combination of recommendations that I can make with posture. And with all of that information combined, you will immediately begin to tell a difference in your performance. I promise you that. So once again, thank you guys for watching. That is all that I have today for this But Honest video. Once again, my name is Nick, and make sure to leave a like and comment down below. Did you learn anything? Do you disagree with anything? Let me know what you are thinking. Also, all my socials will be down below. I do videos every single week here on the channel, so consider subscribing. And I try to stream every day, all under Midwest Gaming Republic. So until next time, have a good night. Peace.